Hey, and welcome to another episode of the Girls to the Front podcast. It is 27 minutes past 7 in the morning. I am still drinking my coffee and I'm still in my pajamas. We're also going to skip over the fact that it is the 2nd of August. This is 2 days late to my July recap, but we're going to skip straight over that and we're going to get straight into the first song. So the first song you've just heard is Rolling Sea by Cosmet. The reason I have put this in this month is because I've been listening to Cosmet, obviously. So I'm going to work backwards through my month of July. So this is because I've been listening to Cosmet because I bought tickets to go see Toodles and the Hectic Pity launch their album on the 27th of July. I bought it a few months ago. It was a treat for myself for my birthday. Now, for reasons I'm not going to go into on this podcast because I was incredibly angry at the time and sad. But I ended up having to go on my own. Now, at the time, this was a really scary thought for me and I dabbled with the idea of not going at all. But I was like, nope, go, because AM1, Cosmet, as a band, their guitarist is Erica Friaz, and if you've listened to this podcast for any length of time, you'll know how much I fucking love Erica Friaz. I love Reviver. So yeah, I was like, well, I can't turn down this opportunity. And also, I really love Toodles and the Hectic Pity, and I was like, you're gonna regret it for the rest of your life. Maybe not that dramatic, but you are going to regret it if you do not go. You'll be thinking about this for ages. If your whole belief is time is finite, then why the hell would you not go by yourself? So I did. I went to a gig by myself. I've documented the whole thing, which I need to edit and put somewhere because I want to show people that it's totally fine to do these things on your own. And I want to show young girls that if you get the opportunity to do these things on your own, or if you are given the circumstances that mean that you want to go do something that you really love and you have to go do it by yourself, that it's totally fine to go and do it by yourself if you want to. So, let's talk about the album launch. So, I went on my own. I only felt really uncomfortable when I got to Bristol, and that's when my anxiety about being there on my own set in. But if you're listening to the right music, if you are engaging with the right sort of bands, then you will know that these spaces will always be really safe for people to exist in. Whether you're going by yourself, however you identify, whoever you're turning up with, you are going to be safe in those spaces. People are looking out for you, whether that's explicitly or implicitly. These spaces are designed for people to exist in whatever form, whatever identity, however they want to exist. These spaces are will be safe. So, I went on my own and it was totally fucking fine. I need to edit the video and put it up so that you can see me talking about it and me going and how it looked. The venue was an old church, and actually the sets took place in the crypts of the church. So it was a really cool setting, and that made it even more worthwhile that I ended up doubling down and going on my own, because I was like, thank God, I would have missed this if I didn't. I would have missed this incredible venue. And I would have missed out on seeing some of the people that I think and I would credit to being life-changing for me. So Toodles and the Hectic Pity launched their album. So they were supported by Cosmet and Soot Sprite. And as I said, Cosmet, Erica Friaz plays in Cosmet. And I took the opportunity when they came off stage to talk to them. I laugh because I think it's I'm now cringing at my interaction, but I'm also really glad that I did it. So, when they came off stage, I went and introduced myself, and I said that I was introduced to Reviver a few years ago. I think they're fucking incredible. I think the music that you've written is amazing. Thank you so much for existing and putting yourself out there and writing lyrics and writing music, because I am really glad you did. So I introduced myself. I said, I'm Mickey. Your music's changed my life. Thank you for existing. Erica then introduced themselves and said, hi, I'm Erica. My friends call me Ricky. And thank you so much for sharing that. That really means a lot. So, that was huge. I'm still riding the high of that. And then obviously Toodles and the Hectic Pity played their set. So they played their album from start to finish. They were a new album from start to finish in its entirety in exact order. It was really cool. I am super glad that I went on my own. I don't regret it for a second. So this is your sign And if there is anything you want to do, this doesn't have to apply to going to see your favorite bands. This doesn't have to apply to music. It can apply to anything you want to do in your life. If you want to go in the sea, don't wait for other people to be coming with you. The sea might have been a bad example there because obviously health and safety issues, maybe you do need to take someone with you. At least tell someone you're going, but you don't have to wait for permission from someone else to go do it. Equally, if you want to go to the theme park, just fucking go to the theme park. Like, if there is stuff that you want to do, don't wait for permission. If you want to create stuff, if you want to start making zines, don't wait for the perfect storm of people to come together and present you the perfect opportunity to start creating stuff. Just start creating those things. It may feel super uncomfortable at the start. I think going to a gig on your own is like a really is a short period of time in which you experience all of these emotions. So you get the anxiety of like putting yourself out there and going by yourself, and what am I going to do? How's it going to be received? Am I just going to hang around by myself? Like, what's it going to look like? And then you do it, and then the feedback that you get is so like affirming, and you get all those feelings. You're like, yeah, this is exactly the right thing to do. So as always, you don't need my fucking permission. You don't need anyone's permission, but use this as your sign to be like, okay, I'm going to go do the things I want to do. Like, don't wait for other people. Don't wait for your friends. If you want to do something and someone makes a face at it, just fucking go for it anyway, because it is the best expression of you. And honestly, like I said, time is finite. And if you don't take those opportunities now, it could come to 10 years time and you'll regret not starting when you should have started. So yeah, that's my advice that I've learned from going to one gig by myself. So the next two songs you're going to hear are a direct result of going to that gig. So you heard Cosmit at the start, Rolling Sea. There's some really beautiful lyrics in there about being the best rock I can be, and I really love it. So the next song you're going to hear is The Tide by Reviver. This is one of my favourite Reviver songs. And then the song after that you're going to hear, and I'm really sorry if you don't like them because I've featured them on every podcast for the last 3-4 months maybe in the run up to this album launch. So this is a song from one of their earlier EPs. It's called Mountain Man. It's Toodles and the Hectic Pity, obviously. I have put this song on today on this episode of the podcast because it features Owen's friend Lester on the trumpet. So Lester is a session trumpeter and he features actually on loads of music that I really love and I had no idea. So he was also there playing the trumpet on a few of the Toodles and the Hectic Pity songs, and he also featured on Soot Sprite songs. So yeah, he got up on stage a few times and played those. I really love how he features in this song in particular. But yeah, I went over and introduced myself because I was also like, you feature on so much music that I love, and I had no idea that it was you. You're the same person on it all, and I love that. But yeah, I went over and introduced myself, spoke to him. Obviously, he's a friend of Owen's, so yeah, I had that mutual link, so I could start off by being like, hey, you know Owen. I am not just some strange girl that's coming up to you. So yeah, anyway, to put a pin in this part of the podcast, to draw a line underneath it, go fucking do the stuff you want to do, even if it means it feels uncomfortable because you got to do it by yourself. Okay, so I turned 31 this month. If you have been a long-time listener, because this podcast has been going for a fucking year, if you're a long-term listener, you will have had the full documentation of me having a meltdown over turning 30 and the whirlwind that was a few months in the lead up to me turning 30. So I turned 31. I am now over the 30 hill, and I'm now on the upward trajectory towards 40, which feels really fucking weird, and my dad loves to remind me. My dad rounds up ages all the time. So when my dad turned 42, he was like, well, I'm 50 now. So I am now in that category where he's like rounding me up, and it feels really uncomfortable. I woke up on my 31st and was a bit like, do I have to start behaving in a different way now? Is there certain things I can't wear? Is there certain things I shouldn't say? Should I stop liking cartoons? Like, what is the etiquette here? And then I was like, nah, fuck that. Like, I'm just going to still exist. Like, age is just a number. whatever society says about your age and what you should be doing at your age is fucking nonsense. When I was younger, it kind of felt like you're going to go to uni until you're 21, 22. Yeah, that's right. 21, 22. You're going to leave uni and you're going to get a fantastic job. You're going to do that for about a year, and then you're going to get married, and then you're going to have kids. And you're going to do all of that by the time that you're 25, 26, because you're going to have a great house. You're going to have all of these things all wrapped up in a nice little bow. That's the expectation. As I have existed, that's fucking bullshit. And I think as we are now progressing in the current climate that we're currently progressing in, that is going to get even more broken down, that we have a huge opportunity to rewrite the rules in terms of what it means to turn certain ages, what it means to grow up, what it means to be an adult. We have a really cool opportunity to just throw all of that out there and just fucking exist and just try and live our best lives, no matter what age we are, no matter what we're doing. But yeah, I think I woke up and was like, okay, do certain things in my life need to change? And no, they fucking don't. So yeah, gonna still try and exist in the most authentic expression of me, which is someone that loves dinosaurs, loves drawing cartoons, and loves watching shit on TV. So yeah, I'm not changing anything just because I turned a certain age. What did I do? I had a really lovely birthday. I did all of my favourite things. So went in the sea, had breakfast, coach girls to the front, and then had sushi for tea. It was super lush and really heart-filling. I feel like I'm really lucky. The universe, I am really grateful for at times, because I get a lot of feedback from the universe. This is where I go into like my ethereal, like energy-based thing. But I think I get a lot of feedback from the universe. Whenever I feel overwhelmed or I doubt myself, or whenever I have really low points, I feel like the universe always gives me some sort of feedback that helps me like realign and to like know that I'm doing the right things. That's obviously, you can argue that's maybe not the universe, that's other people reading your emotions and thinking that you need some pick-me-up. I feel like I get that consistently, and I'm super grateful, and I feel really lucky to have that. But on my birthday, that felt like tenfold. I don't know, I felt like all I wanted to do on my birthday was just do stuff I love, and it didn't matter who I experienced that with, but the universe fucking showed up and just gave me loads of love, and some of the messages and gifts I received were really huge. So I'm super grateful. If you were anyone that took the time to say happy birthday, call me a dickhead, just check in, like, I'm super grateful. I'm really humbled. I get quite overwhelmed. I spent a lot of my birthday crying, in the best way though, because sometimes you do have these moments of being like, I am super lucky, I'm super privileged, and I'm really grateful. I'm going to give a shout out to Caddy Rind now, because the gift that she gave me blew me away. So I'm actually going to show you. So if you're watching this, you can see it. This is a little zine that Caddy made for me on my birthday. And honest to fucking God, this broke me. So this is a zine of all of my favorite things. And there was some stuff in there that I feel like I project out all the time, like my love of dinosaurs, this is fresh, all of this sort of stuff that I feel like I say all the time. But then there was also like some stuff I was like, how the fuck did she know? Like, how does she know? So like, this SpongeBob is one of my favorite artists, I Am Will Blood. Like, I think I've mentioned it once or twice in passing. There's a little tiny Toothless from How to Train Your Dragon, because I'm obsessed with How to Train Your Dragon. These are some of my favorite song lyrics. I think I've mentioned on a podcast once. Like, how does she fucking know? It was, anyway, incredible. So I have to give a shout out, because thank you so much. I cried so many tears about how incredible that was. So yeah, turning 31 is fine. I am really lucky. I'm really grateful. The impending ringing of the time is finite bell gets louder and louder every single year. But yeah, 31 is going to be a really good year. Yeah. And age is just a fucking number. Doesn't matter if I turn 40 or 50, still existing, still doing what I want to do. The song I just played is Dark Blue by One Step Closer. I'm obsessed with this song. It just does things. I can't explain it. I feel like most of the songs that I play, I'm like, I can't explain what this does, but it really does something. I wish I could explain it, but if you love music, and you'll probably like know the feelings I'm talking about, but like certain songs make my teeth hurt. Certain songs like make my heart get bigger. Yeah, they just give me like a physical reaction. So that's one of them. So yeah, I had to feature it on today's podcast. Reading and watching. So the whole point of these recaps was that I was going to go through like what I've been reading and what I've been watching each month, with the idea of like, maybe you want to read it or watch it, or I could give you a review. Okay, so it's now comes to the point of the podcast where I tell you I've not read or watched anything. So I read as part of my day job. So my 9 to 5 as a research officer, I spend a lot of time reading. Some months that's more than others. July has been a really heavy month for reading. So I read a lot of academic papers. I read a lot of like really heavy, weirdy, sciencey stuff. I often have to trawl through things like methods and statistics. And want to make sense of them, because I don't have a very competent grasp on statistics. So it takes me a while to like suss out what certain things are talking about. And I've just had a month of doing a lot of that. I'm contributing to a literature review, a systematic review with someone in work around adverse childhood experiences. And for a lot of that, it's a lot of reading through literature. It's a lot of reading through abstracts. It's a lot of deep reading where you have to really concentrate. So with that in mind, my reading in my free time takes a real backseat, and I feel really guilty because of that, because I really do like reading. I like reading fiction, I like reading non-fiction, but sometimes you spend a lot of time in your day-to-day reading and you just feel like it's not really an escape for you when you come to do it in your free time. So reading has taken a backseat. I am currently in the middle of a book. So I'm trying to read Six of Crows. Is it Six of Crows? I'm so sorry if that's not the book and you've read it. But I'm currently trying to read that. I say trying to. I've been finding them really difficult. I'm so sorry if you love the series. Really difficult to engage with. I think. Have you ever seen the TikToks or things where it talks about reading, and basically if you come up to a word, you just skip over it that you don't know? So if there's lots of names, lots of place names, lots of new concepts introduced, like fantasy worlds, for example, I would just skip over those because my brain can't withhold any more information at the end of the day. So it's a book with lots of those things. I think the reason I'm disengaged with it is because I'm not reading names, I'm not reading place names, and I've got very little grasp of the reality that it's being set in. So I'm a bit gutted. Maybe I should dedicate some more time. Maybe I need to put it away and then come back to it. But I've also got some other books lined up. So I've got a book called Difficult Women. Thank you, Jules, for lending me that book. I will read it, I promise you. But I'm really excited to read that. Jules gave it to me after I read Fix the System, Not the Women. So I need a little break because that book, as I said, I think in last month's recap, sent me sideways slightly. So I'm going to take a little break and then I'm going to pick that book up, but I'm super excited for that. And then Kath Charles literally gave me a book last night around brain function. And yeah, so again, super excited to read that. But Kath, if you're listening to this, I'm really sorry it might take me a few months, maybe even a year, because I apparently am really slow at reading, which I thought I was actually better at reading than I am, and I'm not. So yeah, in terms of reading, not a whole heap. Watching, not a whole heap. I've been recommended the Barbie movie now by lots of people. So this might be 2023's trip to the cinema. If you know me, I fucking hate the cinema. I don't like the idea of going into a dark room to watch something that you can't pause if you need to go to the toilet. I hate when you have to walk down the stairs and then creep out the cinema because when you need to go to the toilet, find that most uncomfortable, awkward thing of all time. I hate that everything there is so expensive. Like, you can't bring in the snacks you want. Like, you have to bring in like popcorn from the shop, and let's face it, that doesn't taste as nice as cinema popcorn. There's so many things I have an issue with the cinema, but this might be the one time I just forget that and break those rules and go to the cinema. But yeah, I've been reading a lot online. Like me being like, I don't read, and then me being like, I've spent loads of time reading on social media. I've been reading a lot about the Barbie movie. I've been seeing a lot of men get angry about the Barbie movie. I've seen a lot of reviews. I've seen a lot of interesting takes on the film. So yeah, I really do want to go see it. I love the idea of taking the narrative of how we have had the male gaze perceive women on film for decades, hundreds of years, the way that we reduce women down to just being their physical form, and that's how we depict them, and that they're reliant on a male lead to drag them through the film. I really love that this film potentially flips that on its head. I feel really inauthentic discussing this because I haven't seen it, but from what I'm reading, I've got a relatively good grasp, I think, of what's going on. But I love that it flips it on its head, and Ken becomes that role, and that we only perceive him for his gender, and that he's reduced down to just being a physical body, because it's a real thinker, I think, for some people that are now being offended by that portrayal of men, because that's how women have been perceived. I think it also kind of discusses how problematic Barbie has been, and how she has been seen as someone that perpetuates a really damaging stereotype for women, but actually it discusses that, and it discusses the roles and the kind of the smashing of glass ceilings that girls often see. So we're having Barbie do lots of roles that girls aren't necessarily introduced to from young ages, but because they have Barbie doing those jobs, they get to see it happen. But yeah, I do need to go see it. It's on, maybe in August. My recap will be talking about how I actually went to see the Barbie movie, and I'll just talk a whole podcast episode of my cinema experience, but who the fuck knows. I have seen some stuff that's really interesting. So there's a TikTok trend where girls are introducing their Ken. So they say, my Ken. So the example I saw last night was, my Ken is lighting Ken. He presses buttons to turn lights on. He comes with on-off switch and a lighting, a light. I think it's super interesting, and I saw someone on social media discussing this. I'm sorry, I can't remember who it was, so I can't credit them to this. But the idea that a movie that is trying to raise women and to amplify the voices of women and to try and create really positive stereotypes for girls, the trend that's come out of it is to talk about men. I know it's a bit of a tongue-in-cheek thing around men and the roles that they have, but I think it's really interesting that the trend that we have as a result of that film is more discussion around men and male roles and things like that. But yeah, something that's, I think, definitely up for conversation, and something that's definitely up for interpretation. So yeah, maybe next month I'll be discussing my take on the Barbie movie, but we'll see. So yeah, like I said, reading and watching has really been on the back burner for me this month. I was really fortunate that for my birthday, I could get myself an iPad. It's something I've wanted for a long time. So I've been trying to teach myself Procreate, which I get really frustrated if I don't get something really quickly, and Procreate has been testing my patience quite a lot, but I think I've reached a point now where I kind of get what I'm doing. I really wanted to start creating resources that were more authentic to me. So all the resources I've ever created for Girls to the Front, and all the period resources and everything I've created under that umbrella have always been on different kind of softwares that have restricted me slightly. So I'm really excited to be creating stuff that's a real reflection of like how I want them to look, and to create something that has like an aesthetic that like feels really nice for me to help create. So yeah, I'm reworking a lot of my resources now. So for example, I had some resources from Know Your Flow, which is some of the period and menstrual cycle stuff that I was doing. So I'm really excited to rework those and make them look like me and to make them look like Girls to the Front. So currently doing that. I've also started creating some zine resources. So if you saw on Instagram, I made some zine making kits with my nan. And then, yeah, so I've made some mini zine templates, and I've also made a how to make a zine mini zine. So yeah, I'm just really excited to create some more stuff like that feels way more authentic to me and isn't in the constraints of software and templates and things like that. So yeah, I'm really excited about that. Yeah, and hopefully it looks like a reflection of me. But yeah, yeah, I had something else to say about that, and I've lost my trail of thought. Okay. What was it? Was it about zines? Okay, I'll just pick that up another time. But yeah, so just trying to learn that and create some stuff. So yeah, super exciting. Yeah, stand by because all of those sorts of stuff are coming. So, I know what I was going to say. So prior to this, I've been making zines in a really physical way. So lots of cutting and sticking. And yeah, making them with my hands. I'm going to still continue that. I'm just going to tweak it slightly so that, I can create some stuff digitally, which means that I can get it out faster. I'm not limited to the fact that I have to photocopy stuff or I have to scan stuff through. I can literally create it and then it can just exist online for people to access almost immediately. So yeah. So the physical stuff is staying, but yeah, hopefully we'll get some more digital stuff that I can do pretty much off the cuff as I think about it without having to then gather everything I need. So yeah, really, really excited. So I think it's time for another song. So I found that Nirvana are a really a really nice working soundtrack. So I really like putting them on and then working or doing bits. Oh my God, I'm so sorry, Owen, you're going to kill me for saying doing bits. Doing stuff, going about my day with that as a soundtrack. The song you're going to hear is Heart-Shaped Box. It has a really haunting like melody to it and stuff, but yeah, I fucking love it. So that's the next song you're going to hear. Okay, time to start wrapping this July recap up. Start to wrap this podcast up. What else has been going on in July? Well, a pretty fucking huge one. Around about May time, and I think it was May, and Amy, I'm so sorry that it's taken this long, but around about May time, Amy came to me with an idea of creating a zine together, so a Girls to the Front and Rise Above Cancer zine, which I was super amped on, with the idea of it discussing like knowing your body, and telling Amy and Janie's stories within that zine, and just raising some awareness of advocating for your needs and knowing when stuff is wrong and or right, and empowering girls to double down on that and to really explore their bodies and to know when they should seek or should push for advice, and also that idea around creating boundaries and things like that. So started in May as a concept, and I am amped to now say that it fucking exists. So this zine now exists. I am so grateful to Amy and to Janie for sharing their stories. So their stories to tell, and I think you should get the zine and read them with their words, not have me tell a version that's my voice. I think you should read it with their voices in mind. Amy has just launched a podcast called the Rise Above Cancer podcast. Please go listen to it, where Amy tells her story. It's phenomenal. So yeah, go listen. But yeah, so the zine contains Amy's stories, Amy's story about being diagnosed with cancer and living with cancer, and how important it is to get your eyes tested. It has Janie's stories in around periods and how she knew something wasn't right with her periods and then got a diagnosis of endometriosis and also a diagnosis with cancer. It tells their stories. I've written some bits in there about knowing your body and how important it is to know your body. There's a bit in there around being able to check your boobs, because we should all be doing that all the time. Just knowing what is right, what is wrong. There's some resources in there that you can access if you want some more information. We talk about cervical screening, just trying to create a general awareness of like, we try and silence women's bodies, and we try and silence women talking about their bodies and girls talking about their bodies, and we try and really stigmatize the idea of women getting to know themselves and being super comfortable with themselves and their bodies, and how that can inform their relationships going forwards. And I hope that this zine goes some way to breaking down that and to starting to empower starting to empower all young girls, and even women, even like everyone. I don't think it should just be given to young girls. I think it should also be given to young boys and also to men, because yeah, fucking hell, everyone needs to know this information. So yeah, if you haven't, go grab a copy. We've got them with us as physical copies, but just drop me a message, and then please go and get a copy of the zine. Amy, thank you so much. You're a fucking legend. You're a force. Thank you for including me. Thank you for being the driving force behind this. It's been amazing. So yeah, I'm super proud that it exists. So I'm going to wrap up this podcast today. First things first, I started creating zines as a bit of a thing to be like, I can do this. And the response has now been amazing. To see some people tag me on Instagram being like, I've started creating zines because of you, or you've created a monster, I'm making zines all the time. The fact that the zine kits sold out so fast has been huge. So thank you so much. It is literally just me dicking about. It feels like it's just me dicking about. It's just me experimenting. It's just me putting messages out into the world that I think people to know. So to have that feedback has been amazing. Thank you so much. It means the absolute world to me. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. It's all fucking amazing. Go and join the Discord if you're not in there already. There is a Discord. There is space in there for Girls to the Front. There is space in there to meet other like-minded people, to create a community of people that are sharing cool music, are sharing podcasts, are moving, are just there to keep you accountable and to space to check in. So please, please, please go join the Discord. There's a few tiers, but if you want to just get in there for free, drop me a message because there is space to do that. Finally, I'm just going to round this podcast off with saying that I'm going to see Drain next week. I'm so excited. So the song that's going to play you out is Living Proof by Drain.